Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are back. Never
We're
Later
back.
Podcast. We're
Slight
back.
hiatus, but we
Oh,
back.
all right, look at that sunburn, boy.
Nah, I'm peeling, bro. It's bad. Look at the
That's
shade, though.
true.
Look at the different color.
That's insane.
It's nuts. It looks a little worse on here. For some reason, the
Yeah,
contrast on my camera is a little off, and I can't figure out why, but it's wild.
your arm look like the color of a G.I. Joe figure.
Look, boom.
Oh, good.
Well, I got some color, though. I mean, at
Yeah.
least you see
Right,
that.
like Puerto Rican.
A little
Instead of
more
Mexican.
Puerto Rican. Yeah, so went to a buddy's wedding in Mexico, so I was gone for like 8 days or so. Getting back in the swing of things, got major sunburn on my arms. So I made a tactical decision. So we went down there. The wedding was on Friday and we landed on Monday. So my biggest concern was not to get super burned before the wedding because I didn't want to have like a
Yes.
red face and pictures and shit. So I don't care. I'm fat, obviously. If you guys are watching this, you know that that's kind of a given. But it doesn't bother me like people looking at me because I'm fat. So I usually go shirtless in the pool or the ocean because I don't give a shit. It doesn't matter to me. Like I've gone to Mexico with this couple 3 times. I'm always shirtless. So it's not like they haven't seen me. But I was trying to avoid getting burned. So I bought these swim shirts, sleeveless swim shirts. But I was like, I'm not gonna like get messed up because it's gonna be
Yeah.
uncomfortable. We're here for 5 days before the wedding. And mission accomplished. It worked. Only my arms got burnt. It wasn't too bad. I didn't sleep too bad. My face didn't get messed up. So
How's the
it
wedding?
was the right call. It was the right call. But
How's the
fun
wedding?
times, man. I know you haven't really gone nowhere, but you definitely got to get out to a vacation. I mean, Mexico's fun in general. We usually stay on the resort. We went to the
Oh, for
five
sure.
beach resort. So it's an all inclusive. Um and had a bunch of pools. We had the penthouse villa. So we had like the third floor. It had a jacuzzi on the roof, like just
Ooh.
all out. Pretty cool.
Did you have any margaritas?
Oh, so many. I didn't even. So first, so when my
You
go-to
said
drink at the
pineapples.
beach when it's like super hot is a
Yeah.
Miami Vice. Like it's a frozen drink, like keeps me cool. It has, alcohol. So I usually just get a Miami Vice, pina colada. I'll
Mhm.
sprinkle in some margaritas. But I had never had a passion fruit margarita until last week.
Okay.
And let me tell you, my guy,
Change your life.
new favorite margarita. I don't know if they make them everywhere because I ain't never heard of it before that week. I'm sure you can ask for it to be made that way, but it was amazing.
I like margaritas. I like mine, like just on the rocks though. I don't like them frozen.
So I drink them on the rocks if I'm like at a restaurant or if I'm drinking it before like eating something or after
Yeah,
eating something. But when I'm on the beach, I try to keep cool. So frozen it is.
I could dig it.
It's fun though. This resort was like built into like the jungle. So there's like
Oh, fancy.
monkeys, literally monkeys running around and shit.
Oh,
Like
that's nice.
I was in the adult pool one day and on Wednesday there was like a bachelorette and bachelor party and I wasn't partaking in that. So I stayed back with one of the other husbands. We're in the adult pool chilling. This monkey comes out of like the wooded area into the restaurant, bro. People are eating. So a table that had like leftover plates, gets some food, and then just goes about his business like it wasn't shit. I was like, all right.
I
There
like
was
that,
like
man.
these little ant eaters, like dozens of them, bro. And they're so used to like humans. If you were in the pool, they would just come up to like your bags and shit and be like rummaging through the bags. People would try to shoo them. They'll be like, whatever, bro. I'm trying to find what I'm trying to find.
Ain't nobody worried about you, man. Give me the
Yeah, ain't
center.
nobody worried about that. But it's cool, man. Like, obviously, all inclusives is where it's at. You just pay to get there, and then once you're there, you just basically tip. Everything else is included. So all you could drink, all you could eat. They had like a couple restaurants on the beach. One had like burgers and sandwiches and empanadas. Then
Mm,
another restaurant was like straight tacos, and they had another one that was like these are just snack areas. They're not
yeah.
even restaurants. They had like a pizza one, and then the full fledged one. There was like an Italian, a French one, Mediterranean, like a buffet. There's all kinds of shit. Like so much
Huh.
stuff to do, man. You can leave the resort if you want to. A lot of people do. They go on excursions and shit, but you
Uh-uh.
don't got to. You
I'm not.
definitely don't got to.
I'm not getting robbed in Mexico. You hear a crazy
So
story.
it's
Mexico.
fun. It's fun. We should do it. Like just with people
Oh,
that we know.
yeah. I would love to go on vacation with you, Brian.
It don't have to
Get
be like
get you
I
in a
don't
hot tub.
hey, you better watch your mouth, boy. You couldn't handle me anyways if you even wanted to. Shut your ass up. Um, what was I gonna tell you? We were
Are there
there
more,
for 8 days. Like that is a long fucking time. It was like
are there resorts
time
like
Sunday
expensive?
came around, it was tough. It depends. Like we got a super deal on this one because it was for a wedding, and dude, destination weddings usually on average. I've never really been to one, but I know people that do them. They get like 20 to 30 people to go. Like it's expensive to go on a destination wedding. Now, my boy Eric and my homie Annie got over 80 people to come to this wedding, dog. It was insane the amount of people. So it was cool. Just little subgroups, right? Friends that don't really know each other because they're
Yeah,
different parts of their lives.
mingling.
But it wasn't too bad. It was like we were there for 8 days, all inclusive. It was like, and the penthouse, and it was $2,200. Like you could do it. You could do a regular room for like half of that. You know what I'm saying? We
Okay.
just went crazy. There's always discounts. Like I use Travel Zoo for some shit, and we get like 60% off. Like as long as you're open and flexible to the dates, there's always deals you can get. And then
Yeah, I
the
know.
cool thing about Mexico is it's only a 3 hour flight, bro. Like going
Yep.
other places, even the Caribbean, like it's like 5 hours. You gotta change planes and shit. Mexico,
Yeah,
you drive down to Chicago, hop on a plane. 3 hours later, you're in Cancun, getting ready to start drinking.
just download the Lord of the Rings trilogy and watch one on the way there, one on the way back, and
So
you're
my
done.
buddy Mark was like, "It's perfect." So he actually left from Milwaukee, or from I think they did O'Hare, I did Midway, and they had to change planes. But he was like, it was perfect because I got an hour and 45-minute movie on from here to Atlanta. Then on Atlanta playing another hour and 20 minutes. I watched another movie, and he was like, we were there.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it.
For me, I sleep on planes. So I've been flying my whole life since I was like 5 by myself. I get on a plane and it's like immediate just drowsiness,
Right.
just a chemical produced by myself mentally.
Have you ever your
Everyone
knee
hates
bang?
it.
Have you ever got your knee banged by one of them carts?
Oh, for sure. I mean, we're bigger dudes, so like the good thing about international flights is the planes are bigger. So like they're wider and there's a little bit more space leg wise.
That's
But if you're just flying like domestically, like it's for me, it's super tight. Yeah, it's super tight. The international flights aren't as bad. Fun
yeah.
times though. I recommend it. The Fives was a cool place, more family orientated. I want to do like a cool vacation for just adults only, like no kids running around and shit. They had an adult only pool. That was cool.
I'll be super down for sure.
It's one of those things we'd have to plan with the whole crew with hella time. You need a passport. That takes months. Like it only costs like I don't know how much like $120, I think a passport costs. But it's the time that you have to wait for a passport, obviously.
Yeah, because I never traveled. Don't have a passport. None of that stuff.
Yeah, so you'd have to get that, and then obviously not everyone just has $2,000 laying around, so you have to get that up. Like.
Hmm.
But it could be something we can plan. Like if you guys are real serious about it, we can talk. I know Diego wants to do it, make it kind of like a group thing, and say, hey, next year in December, so you got a whole year and a half. Here's what we're planning. Get passports ready. We'll find a better deal, and then this is where we plan on going. That way, everyone, whoever comes, comes. Whoever doesn't, then oh well, I'm still going.
I'm gonna be coming, all right.
Well, hopefully
But,
April's coming, or you're gonna be coming by yourself.
I was I don't read too much, but like I was reading some wrestling stuff, and Seth Rollins was like, he's like, I just been thinking like since I'm in the Roman era. He's like, am I ever gonna be that guy? He's like, or I was gonna be his Macho Man to his Hulk Hogan, and I forgot he named some other wrestlers. I was like, I mean, I think I don't know. Seth Rollins is more of a selling point to me than Roman Reigns, but
I think
I just
so.
thought that ain't
There's
nothing
been
wrong
a
with being
lot of
Macho
talk
Man.
about that recently. I think Seth Rollins is the best wrestler in the world. Like anyone that wrestles Seth Rollins looks amazing. Like Omos wrestled Brock Lesnar at Mania or not too long ago in a match Seth Rollins wrestled him at Backlash, and everyone's super impressed with Omos or whatever. It's not him. Like nothing changed in a month and a half. It's who he
Yeah.
was wrestling. Like Seth can carry anyone. There are wrestlers that like Kevin Owens can carry anyone in a wrestling match. Like there's just specific people that are that good. Seth Rollins though is at another level, and now they introduced a new belt.
They're doing AEW's fire. I've been watching him a little bit.
Kenny Omega.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's one of him and Seth
he's good.
Rollins
He's
have a
good.
little feud, but they go back and forth claiming who the best in the world is.
Yeah, I mean, I like them both though. So
So
but
they made a new heavyweight title. It's basically a consolation prize because they don't want Roman to lose the undisputed belt. So they had I was hoping so. I was like, please don't give it to Cody. Please don't give it to Cody. Please don't give it to Cody. Because it's gonna just cheapen it. Like the whole story thing will be cheapened. And thankfully, they're holding a tournament. Thankfully, Cody lost in the first round. I was like, yes, I don't want Cody nowhere near that damn belt. But Seth is gonna get it. Seth is in the finals. So Seth is going to be the world heavyweight champion.
I wonder if Cody Rhodes just feels like his whole shit's wasted, man. He had this whole story going and shit.
It was so good. Like that was the perfect moment to pay it all off.
Mm-hmm.
It was gonna be so good.
Leave the Vince McMahon like, nah.
So
Like,
good.
Dude, Roman Reigns is boring.
I like this storyline, but the fact that he's not around every day is annoying. Like he's not an everyday wrestler. He's a special attraction. And to be a special attraction, you don't need a belt to do that. Just kind of dumb.
I feel like he's not like charismatic or nothing either. I don't know. He just don't sell it to me. But I mean, the guy's physique, good looking dude. He can wrestle and so I get it. But like Mike skills wise and like entertaining them, like here, or when you see him pop up, you're like, oh man, no.
Yeah, let's see what he has to say.
Yeah.
Let's see but that's what Paul Heyman's there for. That's why they keep them together. Paul Heyman's the mouthpiece.
Yeah.
The world heavyweight title that'll be Seth's belt for a while. They just did Backlash in Puerto Rico. And the crowd, bro, was insane, dog. It was like 18,000 people. And I promise you, there are moments in the pay-per-view or the premium live event, they call them now. They're not called pay-per-views. Where it sounded louder than the Rumble, sounded louder than WrestleMania that has 3-4 times more people. So it's one of those crazy things, but
it depends on the stadium and where you're at and how the sound is, like WrestleMania, that thing is wide open.
Yeah, so there's no ceiling, there's nowhere to bounce.
All the sound is just going everywhere.
But yeah, the Puerto Ricans brought it, man. And then the matches, the whole PLE was amazing. Every match was good. The crowd was just so in tune. Bad Bunny is a genius, dog. This dude, first off, he is the greatest celebrity wrestler of all time. It's not even close. Logan Paul is number 2 to me because he's hella athletic. But to me, there's a difference between an athlete trying pro wrestling and an entertainer trying pro wrestling. Logan Paul is an athlete. There's no denying that. He is a fighter. He fights.
Yeah.
Like he's an athlete. It's different. But he belongs too. Logan Paul belongs. But on the other category, where it's just a movie star or a singer or just a regular artist, undisputed Bad Bunny is the best celebrity wrestler of all time. And if you haven't watched that movie or that match, you have to watch it. It's insane. Like 25 minutes is a hardcore match. It looked like a regular match. Like he didn't need to get carried. It was just phenomenal.
I'm gonna check it out.
Bad Bunny. And then the genius of it. So if you're an artist or somebody, like repurposing old music is important, especially in streaming, right? So the man comes out to Chambea that came out maybe 5 or 6 years ago. So now not only are you wrestling at the height of your artistic career, the man headlined Coachella 2 nights in a row a month ago, and then you come and you're in the co-main event at a wrestling pay-per-view. But not only are you doing that and did it well, Now you repurpose a song that hasn't been on the charts
Probably was
in
trending.
years. And he comes out, and you're in Puerto Rico, so everybody knows the song. The song hits. Now 18,000 people are singing your song. If you listen to, by comparison, when Chris Jericho comes out in AEW, everyone sings that song. Seth Rollins comes out, everyone's like, whoa. It was more than that. Like, and that's insane because it was like a little free concert. Everybody's like, okay, I'm gonna see Bad Bunny out here perform. And the song hits, and now all of a sudden downloads are up. Now you can charge more for licensing of that song. Anybody hits you up wanting to use that song, and all of a sudden that money's higher. The dude's a genius, bro, or whoever's helping him. It might not be him, but whoever his people are, his people know what the hell's going on. If you didn't watch Backlash, watch Backlash. All the matches were amazing.
I'll check it out. Saw Brock Lesnar got busted open or some shit.
That was the main event. So Cody versus Brock was the main event.
Cody lost.
Nope, Cody won.
Oh, Cody beat the big guy.
He beat him. He beat him. Then the next pay-per-views Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia at the end of the month. That's where they're gonna crown the new heavyweight champion. I don't know if Roman's fighting anybody, but what's interesting about that is Sammy used to be a Muslim and he's not anymore. And in their culture, he's an atheist now. In their culture, that is punishable by death. So he can't go there. So it's a Night of Champions, and the undisputed tag team champions can't go to Saudi Arabia to make this happen. So I fully expect Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to lose those belts on a SmackDown or Raw near you before the 27th of May. Because the titles have to show up. There's no way they don't show up out there.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Sometimes wrestling's back, baby, and it's good. It's good.
I'm trying to get in. I'm trying to get in there. I'm trying to. So, guys, we've been talking past couple weeks, whatever, about finding something to watch, that we both like, whatever, stuff like that. Silo is a hit, people, on Apple TV Plus. It's good. It's what would you call it? Like, what is that? What is it called? In the future, but it's not good. What is it?
Dystopian.
Yeah, something. Yeah, kind of like that. So I'm in. The 2 episodes were really good. Got some added some actors I really like, and there's a lot of mystery there. A lot of stuff going on. They put up first 2 episodes. The new one will be out Friday. So I'm geek, man. And then
so Ray told me about Silo, that he had watched it, and I was like, I'll get to it whenever I get back. Then my cousin texted me, Juancho, shout out, Texas. He was like, you watching Silo? I was like, nah, but Ray hit me up. I was like, so I'll probably watch it. I was like, is it good? He was like, bro, it's pretty dope. So now it's 2 people telling me to watch it. So I was like, let me watch it. So yesterday I came home because I was tired. I still am tired. We'll get to that in a second. And then I told Ray, like you said, we've been trying to figure out what new show we can talk about weekly. And this is a weekly show on Apple TV. It is on Apple. Apple has some dope ass TV shows, but this one,
they're Apple TV is underrated. No one
super underrated. Super underrated. But 2 episodes out. So I mean, when you find a show that both the audience and critics like typically you can't really go wrong on it. But on Rotten Tomatoes, I pulled it up. Audience score is 90%. Critic score is 86%. So both
funny
core demos are active on it. But they have a lot of popular, highly rated TV shows on Apple, like The Big Door Prize, Ted Lasso. I love Ted Lasso, although season 3 is kind of, I don't know, iffy. What else is on there? There's a lot of cool shit on there. The Foundation, season 2 of The Foundation's coming. I don't think you've even watched season 1, but that's interesting. A lot of sci-fi stuff, a lot of cool sci-fi. But let's get into Silo. Huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so let's get into Silo. So Silo is based on a book. So I watched the 2 episodes. I'm nuts, y'all. This is a little insight into my personality. So I watched these 2 episodes, and I'm like, my cousin's like, they're based on books. So I watched the 2 episodes and I'm like, yeah, I'm not trying to wait to see what this happens. So I go on Amazon. So it's a series of 3 books. The first one is called Wool, which is what this season is about. Maybe multiple seasons. I'm not sure. The second one, what is it called? Shift. Let me bring them up. I have my Amazon. And then the last one is called Dust. So apparently these were like super underrated sci-fi books when they came out. The first one came out hella long time ago. The author is Hugh Howey, and it looks like they came out in 1984. The first
Wow.
one. So old book, but one of those sci-fi things that kind of gets lost, right? Like we don't
I never
we're
heard
too
about
young. We never heard about it. Like we didn't read it when it came out. So that's another cool thing about when you start basing series or movies on books. They start, if you dig far enough, you find gems that people don't remember or never read. So the first one's called Wool. This is what we're watching now. So I guess a summary, right, of what is going on. So episode 1 called Freedom Day. And this is, I guess I want to get your thoughts on this because it kind of, I'm not the biggest fan of time hopping. And what I mean by that is it's what Yellow Jackets does. Yellow Jacket does that the whole time. So like they'll show you something in the future, they'll go back to the past, back to the future, back to the past.
Explain it, yeah.
And some shows do it well. Like I think Yellow Jacket does it well because there's a big enough time gap that you know where you're at, right? In time. There's the teenagers and then there's the adults. I think the It series kind of does a better job of that too. It gets a little more confusing when the time is days or weeks because they look the same. There's no real differentiating factor on it. So like, it's not necessarily a show that you can half-ass pay attention to.
No,
like you have to watch it. Like you have to be in it to like pick up clues and see what's going on and listen. So my wife ain't gonna be a big fan because she's always half-ass on her phone doing stuff and she'll start asking me questions. I'll be like, watch the show. Oh, you're sitting right next to me. Watch the show.
Like when you said to me, you're like, man, they take all this time to just show good.
Yeah, the whole episode.
I was like, you'll understand. Like that's how I finish. I think this would. I mean, I hope they don't keep doing that, but like every plot that was set up had to revert and go back and be explained, or go forward and be explained. You know what I'm saying? They kept, you know what I'm saying? So, but I mean, I liked it a lot. It's different. There's no show like it. It's original. I didn't know it was a book. I was like, man, when I was watching, I was like, oh, cool, man, an original idea. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm very intrigued about the whole thing. Like, I can't wait to.
Oh yeah. So my purpose behind reading the book, aside from impatience, is what if it gets canceled? Like I'm invested in what happens, right? So like if we don't get to the end of book 1, like I'll be like, what show me and my brother were just talking about this. Do you remember a show called like Zoo? I think it was like Zoo or something. Like the animals turned on the humans. Something happened where like the animals were no longer trusting the humans. They wanted to kill all the humans or something. They're like, oh, communicate. It was like a low budget sci-fi thing. And I was invested in the first season. I was like, the concept's cool. Like I didn't really care that the graphics were lame. I just was invested in the story. And then boom, gets canceled. Now I'm like, well, shit, I want to know what we're doing. So it was a book. So I bought the book and read it. So things like that. But yeah, episode 1's like a curveball because like the main character is Rebecca Ferguson, who is on the cover. Like if you look up Silo, her face is the main face that shows. Like you can see she is the main character. And like Ray said, like I watched the entire first episode and she shows up with like 2 minutes left in the episode. I was like, I watched the whole episode before even sniffing the main character of this show.
Yeah.
But they did a good job. Like it's all a part of the building, right? That building and then the motivation.
And the buildup is really good too, man. Like, and So there's nothing you can really spoil because there's nothing really been explained 100% yet,
Right.
guys. But so what is going on in the show is these people live in a silo. They don't know who built it. They don't
Why is it
know
there
they don't know why it was built. They don't know anything about it. Like their whole life has been this.
for
That
140 years or some shit?
and when you think of silo, you think, just a two. No, this thing is massive. Like floors, bridges,
Hundreds of stories
hallway.
straight down.
Yeah, it's huge.
What's crazy is there's like no elevators. So like you have to like if you're on floor 120 and you have to get to floor 17, you gotta walk the
Mm-hmm.
spiral. And it's not just a spiral, like he said, it branches out. So like
Yeah,
there's moments where a character has to go from their job to another floor, and it's a whole not that you watch it, but it's a whole day journey. Like it took me 9 hours to get here,
yeah,
bro. Like, what's your issue?
that's crazy. And then my girl was asking me this question. She was because they're talking about they don't want old artifacts and or anything or people to talk about anything old. They get rid of books, all that kind of stuff. She said, "Why they do?" I'm like, because obviously you your whole life is spent in that silo. They don't want people to know about the outside or what I'm saying, because when people get curious, then people start moving around. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to tell my girl, I was like, they don't want none of that. They don't want them to be curious. They don't want them to learn. They don't want them. So and so it's really exciting. And then so what's her name? I can't, her name is she has the blackest name ever. What
Which
um
one?
Rashida.
Yeah, what is what's the cast?
Is her
Let's
name
see.
Rashida?
I don't know if it was the sheriff's wife or
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the sheriff's wife.
Her
I
name's
think so.
Rashida. She was in
Um,
Park and Recs.
yeah,
But
I like her. She's a cutie in
oh
general.
yeah, yeah, for sure. She reminds me of like a cheaper version of Jessica Alba.
Oh yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
But yeah, so she goes digging through some files and stuff like that, and they live by this rule. Like if you say, "I want to go outside," they get rid of you, and then you go outside. But the thing is, anyone that's ever went outside has died. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I want to. That's what I'm so intrigued by because she found out some stuff, and then she, and after she found out what she found out, she was like, I want to go outside. Her husband's like, are you crazy? You know what I'm saying? She's married. She loves the dude. They were trying to have a kid. And whatever she found out was enough for her to be like,
Leave
screw all that.
everything.
I
Yeah.
got to figure out what's going on out here. And, so everyone just, and then like the main thing I like about it is her husband thinks she's crazy or everybody else thinks she's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know Brian, I've known him forever. If he told me he found out some shit and he has to go see shit, I would believe him. I'm like, damn, you know what I'm saying? They're just treating her like she's crazy, she's full of shit. And I don't care what else is going on. Like if you're one of my dogs or my people or something, I believe in you. You know what I'm saying? So this is his wife, the tramp kids, love her, and she's like, yo, I found this stuff out. I don't really can explain it or whatever, but it ain't what they say it is out there and stuff. And the guy don't want to believe her. He's treating her like she's crazy. He's talking to other people, kind of like she's crazy. But I guess his whole life is built around that though, being a
Yeah, it's
chef,
that
keep people.
indoctrination. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, you keep it in there. It's what they're
yeah,
born
like
into.
talking about freak everybody else out too. And they were like, and the lady was like, well, she don't gotta go. He's like, no, she gotta go. He's like,
Yeah,
oh,
she
why?
got her.
She can't get no pass.
He's like,
She
I'm the
got
sheriff.
no
If you say it,
rules.
you're out of here.
Dang.
Follow the rules. So
And,
it to build more around it if you're not watching it. Hopefully we get you guys intrigued enough to go check it out if you have Apple TV. If not, you should get it. There's a lot of great shows on there. Apple, if you're listening, shoot us a sponsor. um, but so yeah, they're in the silo, right? But there's a community like Ray's talking about. So there's a mayor of the silo. There's been mayors over the course of 140 years. There's a lot of secrecy. So the artifacts are anything that happened prior to an event 140 years ago. We don't know what that event was. We don't know what caused the event. We don't know why people are in the silo. We don't know why people are not allowed to leave the silo. All we know is that they have built a community in a silo that's over 100 and something floors deep. There's a mayor, there's a police, and then what do they call what's the other people? So there's the cops, and then there's like a more nefarious
oh, the
authoritarian
order,
group.
right? The order.
I don't know if it's called the Order. What are they
The
called?
regime, some what's a one word, something like that. But that's another thing that intrigued me. You see him for a second, and Common's one of them, and I
Yeah,
love Common.
Commons. His name's Sims. He's one
I
of them.
seen him, I was like, oh man, what are these people? You know what I'm
What are
saying?
they called?
And see, this is like old school shows, guys. They just put 2 episodes out, and you gotta wait every Friday. So you're just sitting there like, man, what? I think it's this, or I think this. You know what I'm saying? Like I was telling my girls, so when they go outside, there's a camera, guys, and everyone that's left, they said always wipe the screen off or something. But I think something's fishy about that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I don't know exactly what or how they're doing it because everyone that's ever went out there, people watch too. Like when someone goes out there, they do like a raffle and stuff like that to get the people going and stuff, and certain people get to watch it. And then there's that subterranean people. They're there. They live like in the bottom of the bottom. You know what I'm saying? They watch it too, but they don't really mix with the other people. I guess I don't know. It's kind of segregated, but so Rashida goes out there and she tells her before she does, she tells her husband like, "Hey, if it's like they say, I'm not gonna wipe the camera off. Man, I'm gonna just go and die." But she's like, if it ain't what they say, it's trees and grass and it's
I'll
beautiful out
wipe
here,
it.
she'll
So
wipe
you'll
it.
know.
Yeah. So she went out there and she wiped it. And, you know what I'm saying? In his face, he's like, oh, shit. You know, he's thinking, you know. But then you see her going down. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think I don't know if I think it might be all bullshit, but I don't know how they're doing it. You know what I'm saying?
So yeah, so like
Because the
the
air is
the
toxic. That's the
one
only thing we know is that you can't live out there. That's
yeah.
all they say.
So the one they have a series of rules. We don't know all of the rules yet. We may not ever know all of the rules, but everything boils down to if you ask to be let out of the silo, you will be let out of the silo. Period. Like the moment you utter the words, okay, we will let you out. You can't come back. It's irrevocable. And then you have a choice, right? They have a saying. I'm paraphrasing because I can't remember it all. The saying is like, you have been given supplies to clean the camera so that the rest of us can see what it looks like out there. We can only ask that you do it. Once you leave the silo, there are no laws and no one can make you do it. So you do it if you want to. And that's important because when Allison, that's the name of the wife, talks to the sheriff, she's like, why do you think no matter every time people leave the silo, they say, I'm not cleaning shit. I'm not cleaning shit. But once they do clean it. Right? Like, why is that? And she's like, it's because they want us to see what they see. And that's the basis of it, right? Because when she goes outside and she does everything she does, and we're leaving out a big part that we'll touch in a second. That's why she tells her husband what Ray just said. Like, hey, if it's legit, I'm gonna clean it. If it's not, then we'll be SOL. So another part of this whole complex situation is that the whole civilization is monitored, not just by the mayor and the cops, but by the system called the judicials. That's what the common do is the judicial. So these people control every aspect of what happens in the silo, including reproduction, which is important for Allison's purposes. So one, you have to get sanctioned as a couple. So like you can't even date anyone if you just want to date someone. You have to tell the government either approves or denies you dating them or marrying them. And the government also determines through an application process who is able to have babies, who can reproduce. And that's an important part of this because this is what spirals Allison out of control into wanting to leave the silo is she's a critical thinker. And this is the same problem people have with religion. Like critical thinkers typically have an issue following organized religion. It doesn't mean that they can't. There are many scientists that are religious. But for the most part, like if you're a critical thinker, it's really hard to accept that there was once nothing and then there was everything. Like there's no explanation or, there's no explanation around that. Me and my dad used to have this conversation all the time. He was a deacon and he used to get so frustrated, but it's just how some people think. It's how I think. And ultimately there's a big majority of people. So we're not going to tell you every line of the story, but ultimately in the show, she finds out that they don't want her having babies because of the type of person she is. So once she goes down the spiral of finding all this information, she decides, I'm gonna go outside and find out for myself. The show is, it's complex, bro. Like, there's political aspects of it. Like, now this is just episode 1. In episode 2, the sheriff, meets our main character, which is Julie, finds out a bunch of extra shit, ends up wanting to be with his wife, and he wants to go outside. So he goes outside. But the ramifications of selecting a new sheriff, the judicial wanting to put their person on there, the mayor has the log of all the previous mayors and everything that might have happened, anyone that might have gone outside. I'm in, dude. Like, the show has so many layers, and the silo is so big that we can see what's happening at different societal levels. It's gonna be successful. I think it's gonna be so good. I have a fear, which we'll talk about a little later with the writer's strike. But as of right now, I'm in, dude. They got me hooked on it. It is amazing.
The funny thing about it is that show has a lot of pokes at reality, or our reality as well. Because like Brian was saying, they're like, oh, once you say you want to go out, we put you out because you have a choice. Not really. Whoever says they want to go outside, they want them the fuck out of there because they don't want them.
Yeah, you're not right. You're not
saying?
You're not
so
binding.
They think you have a choice. If when people don't have a choice, they rebel. So if they said that you can't leave here, people will be trying to leave all the time. But they're saying you have a choice to leave there, but if you do, you die. So you have a choice to go, but you're not going to go because you don't want to die. You know what I'm saying? And that's just like anywhere in the world. Government, rule. We don't really have a lot of choices. We're lemmings. We make money for the bigger people, and we keep the world going. You know what I'm saying? If everybody stopped working, whatever jobs they're working, and became like personal business people, or just stop buying shit, we could live off the world and the stuff we're saying. There's a lot of pokes at that and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I really like that, but they're like choices. So they ain't got no choice. Someone's controlling everything in there, but that's how you do it, though. That's how you control people, though.
And we don't know who it is.
Think they have a choice, and it's a ladder: survive or die. Ain't no one choosing to die. Everyone's scared to die. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if your convictions are high enough, you will. Like, right?
Yeah,
like, and that's the point. If your curiosity. So the whole point, what you're saying is real. Like, I rather boot you out of here than you infect the minds of everyone else, asking inquisitive questions, like trying to ask what happened, why it happened, where it happened. Because they don't want us to know any of that. And as an audience, you don't know any of it either. Like, and when we're talking about relics, we're talking about stuff that we deal with now, like hard drives, candy, like it's in the future, obviously, but it's not like crazy stuff. It's things that we use. Say an iPhone. If somebody found an iPhone somewhere, that would be a relic. Like, this microphone would probably be a relic. Like, they use real antiquated computers, like super old computers with like the Star Wars computers from the first couple of movies where they're super old. So good. You know what I think is happening though? Before I even start reading the book, it gets delivered tomorrow. So I think, and we haven't even talked about episode 2 really, but what I think, so it is fucked up outside. I think the camera is showing them what's out there. What I think is happening, the visor is showing them something different. And why do you think it's doing that? So that they will clean the camera. So like the people that go outside, their visor is showing them something that's not real. So then they clean the camera so that's the sustainability, right? You need to show everyone else it's still fucked out outside. Otherwise, everyone's going to want to go outside. So in order for the people controlling everything that's happening, I can't make you clean the camera. Once you go outside, you're beyond our law, but I can trick you into doing it. I think that's what's happening. Because one thing that's never happened when the sheriff goes outside, he took his helmet off. And they were like, oh, that's never happened. So like, not only is he the first person to do that, but why take his helmet off if he didn't think it was safe? Right?
Okay, so you were telling me what you think is going on. This is what I think is going on. When you put that suit on, they're pumping like a finite amount of something that kills you.
I can see
So,
that. I
so,
thought that
so don't
initially.
take the helmet. So he's like, I can't fucking breathe, or someone's freaking out, so he took it off. You know what I'm saying? So that was my thought, that like they pump some like poison or something like that, just give you long enough time to make it a couple feet, get out of there, and feel normal about it. But I think so. That was my thoughts right now. That I think they're trying to kill you, so you can't go out there. So those are my thoughts right now.
So I can see that. I thought, I'll be honest, I thought that initially too. Like because she made it a couple steps, and then she got up and she walked again. And I was like, well, maybe it's the suit, right? Like I thought the same thing you thought. But when the sheriff went out there, I don't know, like that other thing came to my
Yeah.
head. Like, what if
I
it's
think, I
not
think it's
real?
doctored. I think the video is doctored. That's why they have them come up to the camera and wipe it off, so they get enough footage or whatever, and they could remake, because when you're looking at that window, whatever they have, ain't shit moving. It's just like it looks like a still,
Yeah, it's a still. It's a
you
still.
know. So I don't know. Like, we're 2 episodes in, guys. So you know, there's a lot of speculation there, but I want to know. That's why I'm gonna keep
No,
watching.
I'm in. I'm in. On Friday, I will for sure be watching episode 3.
I got to see where that chick's going right now too, because like, did they find a way like outside or to a different spot or something? Like she's in
Well,
the
when they were
water.
looking through the hard drive, he found that tunnel. Remember, there was a tunnel in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
schematics, and it led somewhere, and that's what he was looking for. And he found it, and it got him killed. So now, when she finds it, what happens? And more importantly, because this is what the show is about. So when the sheriff died, he named her as his successor. That's how episode 2 ends. I nominate Julie to be the next sheriff. That changes things because one, she's a mechanic, she's from the lower level, and she has his wife's mindset. She's already an inquisitive thinker, and she's gonna question shit. So that's gonna politically, that'll change the landscape of the silo. So I'm excited about that, and ultimately where she ends up. There's 3 books. We're in book 1. Book 2 is, from what I've seen on the synopsis, it's not in the same time period. So they take us back to what happened in book 2. So like who created the silo, why it was created, and why people are there. So I don't know if that gets adapted into any type of season. And then book 3 goes back to the silo in the future, and it further explains Juliet's story and everyone we've met in the first book. So, okay. But I only got book 2 today. The other 2 get delivered tomorrow, dog. Book 2 is 540 pages, dog. It is a thick ass book. I was like, all right, we're going to be reading this for a while.
I know it's based on a book. I wonder if they're going to just take their own little bits and pieces and build a show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be completely true to the source material. Like they can take what's in Big 2 and put it as a part of like flashbacks, into the main.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be its own season. It could just be like, oh, we found a video or some files, and here's what happened, right? And then we have a couple flashback episodes of how we got to the silo, like what happened to get to the silo.
Because the episode ended, she was in water, right? She was like swimming.
Yeah. Well, she was right above it. She was gonna go diving.
All right, yeah, man, I can't wait for Friday.
It's gonna be so good, y'all. Check it out. Silo, Apple TV. If you're into sci-fi, dystopian type TV shows or movies, this is for you. This is it. So since we're talking about TV shows, nice transition here, almost like I planned it. So the writers are on strike again. It's been a long time. 2007, 2008 was the last time there was a writer's strike in Hollywood. But we're back. So that got me thinking, because I remember. So if I told you, maybe you remember. I know a show I will call, but let's see what you say. So during that time period, every show fucking sucked. Like during the strike and right after. It took a little bit for shows to get good again. But what was the show, if you have any, or if you remember during that time, that the writer's strike hurt or killed for you? I've always had mine. It's always been the same show every time I've ever thought about it.
I didn't really think about it, honestly.
So Heroes. I loved Heroes. And the writer's strike happened, bro. And Heroes was trash. It never recovered. Like Heroes was destroyed by the writer
Yeah,
strike.
I remember that because it was so fire. And then when
It was
bad,
so good, dude. Heroes save the cheerleader, save the world. It was so good. The show was. I can watch season 1.5 and still feel like it's an amazing show, and you can just feel the immediate impact of the strike, bro. It was completely different.
it's this shit. I mean, I get it, but it's pissing me off
It's
because now
early,
everything I'm
hopefully.
waiting for is gonna be delayed even more.
Yeah, they already pushed back some shows and movies.
Movies too, Blade. How many
Yeah,
times they gonna push Blade back? Man,
they
damn.
shut down production on Blade completely.
You do for man, that movie ain't ever gonna see the light of day.
I think that too, because Marshala Ali is gonna keep getting older and older.
Yeah, fuck, because I thought they were done with the script. Jesse didn't like it, so they're rewriting it. Then they're coming out with like all these cast people they're casting, and the writer's strike happened, so it stopped. So it ain't even written yet. Still, what the what? What are y'all doing with that, man? It's because it's
Yeah.
black. Because that's because it's a black superhero.
Stop it. Stop it.
If it was Captain America, that script would have been written in 90 minutes, James Gunn.
You know why it's not true? Because so there was rumors that Andor is a Star Wars series. I mean, there ain't many minorities in this to be in sight, but there was rumors that Andor was they were gonna continue writing it, and today they came out and the main dude was like, "Nah, I'm standing with the writers." You know what I'm saying? Like we're not working on nothing.
What do they want?
It's just more money, like any other strike. You want to get a bigger share of the pie, dude. But shows that were impacted, I had to Google it because Heroes was my main one, and it's like number 2 on this list. So Breaking Bad was affected in the first season, but it only cost them 2 episodes, which wasn't a lot. Lost had just aired 8 episodes from its 4th season when the strike began, and then they had to go on a break. Prison Break was in season 3 and only aired 13 out of their 22 episodes they were scheduled to air. 30 Rock in the final season was affected. Ugly Betty, ER, Chuck. The Big Bang Theory had just started. It was the first season, and they only got to air 17 out of the 22 episodes they were slotted for. Family Guy had 9 completed episodes before the strike began, and they had planned 22.
Damn.
So that hurt them. Gossip Girl, Grey's Anatomy, Heroes. So it only had 11 episodes out of 24 air, and none were filmed after the strike ended. The show returned 9 months later. It literally impacted the course of that entire TV show. House, The Office, One Tree Hill, Battlestar Galactica, like some very popular shows during that time were impacted by the strike.
I don't even know what I was doing at that time, dude, because I wasn't watching no TV. For real.
Well, we were in high school. 2007, 2008. You were still in high school. Or had just got out. You might have been in Job Corps. Because I graduated. Yeah, you were out already because I graduated 05. So you would have graduated 06. So you were probably a Job Corps.
Yeah, I was either playing video games or rapping. I watched a lot of movies, but I mean, I don't know. I would never say I've ever been in the TV. This is the most I've ever been in TV.
So shows that have been impacted already thus far for this strike. Let's see. So there's actual picket lines out there. So it's stirring up delays and disruptions. So you have Paramount Plus's Evils. You might be hurt by this one. Apple TV's Severance. I know you like that show.
Yeah, I got shut down. I'm like, dang it.
Picketers paused the filming of the 2nd season of Loot. That's another Apple TV show. Drew Barrymore dropped out of MTV Movie and TV Awards. Shows that stopped production. Night Court. It's actually kind of funny. I watch it.
Dude, I used to watch the original with my parents. Me and my girl been watching the new one.
They have a lot of the original cast on there. Unstable. It's a show with Rob Lowe and his son on Netflix. The first season's pretty cool. That one got shut down. Some show on Stars, season
cut out
3.
Brian. Night Court has one of the greatest music intros ever. It's my favorite. It sticks in my head to this day when I was a little kid, man. I swear.
Some Disney Channel shows. Saturday Night Live. Saturday Night Live's on hold. Shows that close the writer's room altogether. Cobra Kai, not working at all. Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, closed. Yellow Jackets, closed writing room. Abbott Elementary.
The second season is done, though, right? Hopefully.
I mean, sometimes they're filming like,
say
it's a 12 episode season.
God,
they might have filmed 4 of them or something.
Damn
it. Game of Thrones on HBO. Stranger Things won't start filming its 5th and final season until the strike ends.
What the hell?
Studios are suspending deals. So HBO, Amazon, Warner Brothers, NBC, Disney are all starting to cancel some deals that they had lined up.
Invincible's going to take even longer to come out now. Shit.
Marvel Studios shut down Blade. We talked about that. There's 11,000 unionized writers in Hollywood. 11,000. 98% of them voted to go on strike. So, yeah. So the last strike happened between November 5th, 2007 and February 12th, 2008, and it lasted 100 days. The LA economy in those 100 days lost $2 billion.
Woo.
The longest strike in the past was 153 days in 1988. So it could be a long one, guys. It could be. I got all this from Quartz. I'm looking at Make Business Better, Quartz. It's an article by Ananya Blatacheri, posted yesterday. But yeah, that's wild. So we're going to experience. The good news is we're overloaded with so much content this time. In 2007, there wasn't much other shit. Like if you were watching TV, you were watching what was airing. The benefit now is how many shows haven't we watched because we're on overload with other stuff. So like this might give you that 6 months where you can catch up on all the shit you've ever wanted to watch.
Go watch Halo. It's fire. Don't listen to people.
It could be a silver lining. There's a lot of shows I want to watch, but there's just no time in the day. There's no time in the day.
I was gonna say, yeah, there was something I was gonna say. I forgot what it was. I hate that. Damn, what was that?
Lay off the weed, man.
Something about I had it on the tip of my tongue, but now I don't know more. So we'll move on from it. We're talking about speaking of writing, as soon as we go there, keep making a little transition, keep whatever. Brian sent me a thing today saying Google's AI is going to be able to write you emails now.
Oh yeah, let me bring that up. So Google today had a
my first thought was customer service. Like, write me a mean letter about bad customer service. Like, I don't see, because emails are personal most of the time,
So we use Chat GPT for work. Like dude, it's crazy. Like I told you the last time we talked about it, like it accesses so much information. I've had it write emails for my job and just had to change little parts of it, pop it into an automated email draft and run it to everybody I can send it to. So it's real. But Google had their annual developers conference IO today in Mountain View, California. And a lot of stuff came out of that. The main topic right now is what Ray's talking about. So they're going to release a new version of their AI. And when you type an email in Google or Microsoft, it has suggestive writing. So like I start typing something like on your phone, right? You're typing something on your phone and it'll try to finish what you're going to say. So like emails work the same way, but now it's going to have a feature where you can just tell it, like Ray said, like, hey, write me an email about Bloom, and it'll just write it for you. Craziness.
I think it's it's only gonna get worse, man. Terminator. Terminator. I don't
So
want
it's
to.
funny. So when stuff like this happens, like my TikTok starts buzzing with, because my TikTok has gaming news, comic book news, TV news, sexy chicks sometimes, and then it'll have like technology in general. So like Google's buzzing, AI is buzzing. So today I got a clip on my TikTok about it was a TED Talk because I follow TED Talks. Like I like TED Talks. But there's this dude on there talking about AI. So he's like the future of AI or the future of tech isn't like your phone or like a random wearable. And he's on stage and his wife calls and he like puts his phone out or his hand out and there's like a projection on his hand and he like taps it to answer and he's talking to his wife live on stage. And he's like, the future of AI is a wearable. So I'm starting to look at the video like, well, where the hell is it? Like, is it an implant on his head? You know, like, where's the wearable? So it was like this little bar on his shirt. It might be like a square, but it was like a little bar, barely visible. So it's an AI enabled device. And then that's how he's able to talk to his wife through the device. I don't know how the audio works on it, but that's how it works. So, anyways, he was like, check this out. So he's talking about it and he was like, say you have a dietary restriction, right? Say you have diabetes and you can't eat sweets. The dude, fam, he picked up a candy bar and he said, I don't know what the AI was called, but he said the name of the AI and he put it in front of him and he said, can I eat this? And the AI was like, well, considering you're lactose intolerant and this has chocolate in it, I would avoid eating this because it'll make you feel bad. And he was like, but you're in total control. So like you don't have to do what it says. So then he says, hey, Ray, I'm gonna eat it anyways. And the AI is like, all right, well, enjoy it. So like, but the fact that it, you know what I'm saying? Like if
Yeah.
you're on a diet or something, that's just a simple example, right? Like apply that to anything. Like, hey, you're looking at something and you're like, what's the perfect angle for blah blah blah? It would be able to tell you because it's seeing what you're seeing. That's insane. Like the
You know,
future
the
of
government's
tech is
gonna have their
insane.
hands in that. Then you're gonna start getting commercials with all allergy-free stuff. Like, hey, well, okay, this person is allergic to this. He don't
Oh,
like this.
100%.
That. The government's gonna have their hands all in that shit, man. I don't like it.
I mean, 100%. Like we already have advertisement tailored to us because our phone's always listening. And if you doubt that, boy, say anything, dude. So I'm at the resort with this dude, my friend Erica's husband. They're all away. We're in the adults pool, and we are talking about Formula F1 racing, which I don't know anything about, but it's a big sport right now. It's getting huge in the US. It's a more international sport, but the US is starting to adopt it. And the popularity is streaming from like this Netflix show. There's like a documentary, like if they talk to drivers, blah, blah. Anyways, it's getting big. There's video games. So we're talking about it because one night I was up at like midnight and there was a race and I was like, it's kind of cool. They're going 180 miles an hour. Like the way that it's not boring because it's not an oval like NASCAR. Like there's curves and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And the race
And
only lasts an hour and a half, no matter what. Once an hour and a half reaches it, the race is over. Whoever's in first place at that moment is in first place, and that's it. There's no
that's
going.
cool.
That's super cool. So it's a way to keep us engaged, right? Instead of a 3-hour race, you got an hour and a half. Anyways, so we're talking about it. He's super into it. He's talking about drivers. The only driver I know is this dude named Hamilton. Whatever. We're just having a conversation. My phone's in my backpack under the table. Had a conversation. We go in the pool. We keep talking about. We talk about a bunch of other shit. Later on in the day, I'm on my phone. And lo and behold, I don't own the first Formula One game. I've never played it in my life. Never even knew there was a game. I'm scrolling through my feeds. What do I see? The trailer for F1 racing that comes out in July. Like, dude, it's the same on Facebook. Facebook's always listening. That's why when you say, oh, I'm going to get this game or I want to buy this, you hop on Facebook. Every ad from then on is for that. Amazon as well. Like, oh, hey, we think you might be interested in this. Well, yeah, how about that, Amazon? You know why you think that? Because you fucking heard me talking about
it. You're listening. They have their own AI that listens to people, you know, probably his keywords, you know what I'm saying, and whatnot, stuff like that. What other
We
thing I was
talked
talking
about
about?
that a lot. Like the microphone on the Alexas are insane, bro. It like hears me through floors and rooms and distance in my house. It's crazy.
And the only thing you don't hear is when you wanted to shut off, though. Swear they're like, hey, don't make them say it a bunch. You know, stupidest thing ever. But you say anything else, it's got your ass. But what was I gonna
So that
say?
was just one thing Google announced today. They announced, we'll go through this real quickly because we're more Apple people than Google people, but or Android people. But they have the Google Pixel Fold for
Yeah,
$1,800. The first Google folding phone. It looks pretty big. They announced that. What
then the
else is called?
Samsung one was like 12 or 14.
The Google Pixel Fold, $17.99 it's gonna cost. The Google
That's
Pixel
insane.
tablet pre-orders begin today or next Wednesday. Next Wednesday for $499. What's cool
That's
about it is gonna ship with a charging dock. That's different.
$1,600 on a phone.
What else? They have a
You can have a shitty car. You can get around the world. You're gonna buy this phone that folds and has a stupid crease in it and shit. Dude, get those out of my face. I remember my cousin had one like 2 Christmases ago, like the first Samsung, the big fold one.
yeah, yep.
He was like, yeah, yeah. You know, my hating ass. I'm like, fat ass crease in there, dog. I was like, if they ever get that crease out of there, I might think about it. But at the end of the day, I don't want to unfold my phone and sit there like, you know, that's why I like my phone because I could watch it like this. You know, I'm not
Right.
unfolding my shit, holding it. Just not cool to me. But I mean, I I guess I get it. Phones used to fold. Whatever. It's dumb to me. I would never pay that much for that anyway.
And then the Pixel 7a starting at $499. It's a phone, just a
I
regular phone.
want their phone though. The camera on there looks so fire.
So the
And,
phone's
and,
gonna be available for
and
purchase
like,
today for $499.
so what's going on with the systems? How long has the Series X been out? Not been 5 years, right? No,
I don't know. Let's see.
because I
Series.
was, yeah, you got because I know every 5 years it starts get going, you know, and Nintendo just put out something that their new system, and it'll come out to like 2024 or something like that. I don't
Yeah,
know. We
next year.
talked about it, but yeah, so they're because I think the Switch was out before this X and the PS5, right?
Yeah, the Switch has been out for 6 years almost, which is insane.
Yeah, so
Um,
it has been
so
what,
the
like 3?
Series X came out November 10th, 2020, bro.
Oh, so 3 years. It's been 3 years. We're gonna start hearing the rumors and stuff shaking soon. But like I was telling Brian, I don't think I was asking him if he thinks Xbox is gonna make another um system. He says no, but I mean I'm on the fence. I really don't know. I mean I feel like they've been gearing themselves as a company to do that anyway.
I
But
don't. I think the opposite. I think
we'll
they've
see.
been gearing themselves as a company to not do it,
To keep making another one?
to not make another console.
No, that's what I was saying.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think they're gearing themselves up not to worry about a system anymore. They don't want to be in the fight no more. They don't care. They're building some. They're trying to build stuff for gaming that people can play whatever they're on, and that's all they care about.
So I'll share something. So I'm reading this book at work. It's called The Infinite Game. It's for like leadership. So Giannis talked about this. He didn't say that specifically, but this is what he was talking about when he said the season's not a failure. There is no winning. There is no losing. Like the game continues. You're gonna always have an opportunity to improve. So it's a basic mindset. Somebody he knows or he read the book is basically where it came from. So I'm gonna give you a specific example with Microsoft that was in this book, and I read it today, so it's pretty fresh in my mind. So this dude named Simon Simic is my boss's like favorite motivational guy. Like anytime he wants us to like read or do anything, it's always a Simon Sinek example. Like it's his main dude for like his motivation. So he's a speaker. So he spoke at Apple and he spoke at Microsoft back in the day when the Zune and the iPad first came out. The iPod.
I love the Zoom.
So a lot of people did. It was the better device. So check it
Oh
out,
yeah,
right?
for sure.
So he spoke at Zune and Microsoft gave him a Zune. And he's like, dude, the Zune was amazing. Like it was just cool. He's like, but I also had an iPad and I had iTunes. So most of my music was already on iTunes. So I gave the Zune away because I wasn't going to use it. I was already an iPod dude. He was like, but then I spoke at Apple. So this speaks to, and I think Microsoft learned from this because it's insane. So he does his whole speech and then he's sharing a cab ride back to the hotel with one of the Apple executives, right? And he's one of these people that likes to get you thinking, so he pokes you to like see what you say and whatever. So he was like, so I couldn't pass up the opportunity. And he was like, you know, Ray, he was like, I spoke at Microsoft not too long ago and they gave me a Zune. And I have to tell you, it's a better product than the iPad is. And the dude turned to him and said, I have no doubt. And that was the end of the conversation. There was no expounding on it, no nothing. Apple knew already that it was better. But you know what Apple knew that no one else knew? That the iPhone was about to come out 2 years later and it would have made everything irrelevant anyways. I think Microsoft was so focused at the time and that's what the book's talking about, in beating the competition. And Apple came in and took over the US market in almost every aspect of every way because Microsoft was focused on beating Apple and Apple was focused on the future, not competing with anyone, but changing how business worked in the telephone and music industry. So fast forward a bunch of money, like Apple ends up with 70% of the share, you know, blah, 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 a whole bunch of business stuff. But if you think about it, I think when we related things that you and I care about video game wise, I think Microsoft learned a valuable lesson there.
Yeah.
Because when the Xbox first was announced, they were already on the DRM. Remember, they were like, oh, it's going to be digital. Like, you're not going to be able to borrow games. And the crowd was like, hold on, pump the brakes. Like, that's not what we want. But yet here we are 8 years later already doing it. Right. No one's going to the store to buy a physical copy. So they were already thinking that. Fast forward to this gen and the Game Pass comes out. And they're like, we don't even make money from the console. But if I can sell you Ultimate Game Pass for $160 a year, I'm going to lock you in. And you could charge, honestly, Ray, they could charge me $200 for that a year and I'll pay it. Like I wouldn't even blink. I'm paying it. The value of it is insane.
Yeah.
So I think that's what they're doing. Like, and that's why they say, like, in all these court documents, they're like, oh, we lost the last gen because they did. Sony outsold them, but they don't care anymore. Like the purpose of it is the same story, just reversed. Now, instead of Apple, it's like, you know what? Sony does have a better video game console, right? Like they have a better strategy, but I don't give a shit because that's not what I'm doing anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like we are looking at this as a service, not as a machine.
Yeah. Oh, they changed the world of gaming. Dude, PlayStation Plus has nothing, or there's nothing that has anything on Game Pass. You can play it on your phone, play it on your computer. You can play it on Xbox. Is Game Pass on PlayStation? Probably not. They won't allow that.
If they shut down the console, it will be. Like if they're not a direct competitor to Sony, the Game Pass will be on the PlayStation. This is not a if, it is a when. And there's always been rumors of it getting on a Switch. Because it's cloud gaming. Like it doesn't even run on, like when I do it on my phone, it doesn't even run on my phone. I'm just streaming it off of some server in a mountain somewhere.
Hey, and them servers are bad because you could stream like a Battlefield.
Battlefield.
You could pretty much stream play it, and I thought I was having problems with it. Smooth, all of them smooth. Like they're ahead of the curve. Like I said, I don't think they care about a system no more. They just want to get Game Pass into many hands as possible.
And you can see that by where it's available. Like you can get the Game Pass on your TV. Like certain TVs let you do it. Like the Samsung Game Hub has access to the Game Pass, and I can play my Xbox games on my TV without a console. Like it's about getting into as many hands as possible. And then you raise the price. Once everyone's used to it, you could charge whatever you want. It could be $20 a month, and people will be like, well, it is what it is. This is what we're doing. The flip side of that,
if they shut a console down, I think it'll be like $30-$40 a month. Watch.
Maybe. They have to. So that's where I was going. On a business side of things, and my buddy Zach and I have talked about that. So he's in business operations, so he thinks differently, right? It's all about where's the money coming from? How efficient can we be? What are we losing? What are we making? Blah, blah, blah. And his main thing is, sure, the Game Pass is cool, but is it sustainable, like price wise? Because they don't charge a lot for it. It's $15 a month. And they're paying out billions of dollars for these licenses. Like, I don't know, I don't have exact numbers, but they pay EA for the EA games to be on there, right? Like EA Access is now on Game Pass. You have all of your original IPs and all the studios they've been gobbling up and buying up to make original games. And the execution part is missing because it's been over a year and a half and we haven't had an Xbox exclusive game. And then Redfall comes out and is absolute trash. So, like, there's components of it that they can really mess up. But I think once it's in enough people's hands and they raise the price, it will become financially sustainable. It will be one of their main sources of revenue.
Looks like in 2 years I finally own a PlayStation.
But we'll see. I mean, we still have we're only 2 years into this cycle. This should last 6 years. So, like, we'll get, I don't know if Microsoft needs to because the Series X is so popular, but we'll get a PlayStation Pro. Like, there'll be a PS5 Pro in a year and a half or so that will equal the Series X spec wise. But competition is heavy. PlayStation Plus Premium is nowhere near as good as Xbox is, but it's forced them to add stuff. Like, now Ubisoft Plus or Play is on PSN because you have to do something, right? Like, you can't let them have everything.
Yeah, well, the single player game is, just by far superior. I never thought it would go this far. Like, Xbox does not have a game. They don't have a game.
It's insane.
And I can rattle off 5 that PlayStation has.
It's insane, bro. And it's a big year for PlayStation. Like, Spider-Man is a huge game. Spider-Man 2 comes out this soon. Like,
well, and this God of War just came out and blew the roof off shit. Spider-Man's gonna come blow the roof off it. Horizon Zero Dawn 2 is gonna kill it.
That game came out, killed it.
They're just stink. And if Naughty Dog puts out another anything, like, money, PlayStation's just rich. And they got that VR coming out, rich.
Yeah, so now talking about that. So before, you can only get the PSVR 2 on Sony's website, and they haven't been selling a bunch of it because it's kind of expensive and VR is still a niche thing. But now you're able to go pick it up at a store, so that should help. And they're saying a price decrease is coming, so that will also help if you lower the price on it.
Has to.
I don't know, man. I think games for a service is where it's at. That's just everything for a service is where we're at. That's just that's how we're conditioned now.
Yeah, because I don't want to go to the store and buy any games. I don't want to do disc or none of that. I want to click and go. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be able to.
So, like, let's think about it realistically, right? So, say you're a gamer, like, more than average. Like, you play video games.
Oh,
like, not us. We're more than that. Like, we are, like, in it, right? But say you're the average gamer. You play video games 5 to 10 hours a week. Conservatively, right? Let's say that's what you do. You turn it on the weekends. You play Madden, for example, whatever. But you buy a game a month or a game every other month, right? You spend $70 on a video game every other month. Let's say that conservatively. That's what you buy 6 games a year. You add all of that up. Like, just, humor me. So you're out here spending all of that money. And you want to do, we're not even going to do taxes. So you're spending $420 a year on games, and you only bought 6 games this year. Again, not us, not people probably listening to this podcast, but your typical father of 3 that only plays when your wife is still sleeping, the kids are in bed. You get an hour a day max. You buy 6 games a year. If I were to tell you, I can give you all of the games for $40 a month.
Yeah.
You're spending $420 already without taxes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you $40 a month for $480 a year. You're gonna be able to play any first party IP the day it launches, any EA game, anything else Microsoft decides to add to the Game Pass on any device, which is
Yep.
important. Any device for $480, they're gonna do it, bro. Like, it's just, if you like video games, you'll do it. You might not do it every month. You might subscribe 1 month, unsubscribe, subscribe again, unsubscribe, but you'll do it.
Well, I will. Well, I mean, I don't know because I usually play one game and then play it for a long time. Like the way games are set up now, like one game keeps going.
Yeah, but
So
it's tied, right? They're not just selling you. So, like, Ultimate Game Pass isn't just the Game Pass. It's Xbox
no,
Live. It's your ability to play online with other people, to talk to other people. So, like,
yeah,
even if you're not playing a bunch of games and you're a social gamer, you want to play with your friend, you want to play
yeah,
Dead Island with me, you're
yeah,
gonna have to pay $35 a month. That's just how it's gonna be. 40
yeah.
bucks a month.
Which I would. I mean, that's the only way I play.
Yeah, people would do it.
If games were online, I wouldn't be a video gamer.
They would do it. I mean, I would. I like single player games, but we play way more. Like, I'm more a multiplayer game because there's rarely a game, even as good as it is, say Horizon Zero Dawn or God of War. If I'm playing that and you were to text me and say, "Hey, come play Battlefield," I'm more than likely gonna get off of the single player game and go play Battlefield. That's why a
Yeah.
lot of games in my library die, because, like, I'll buy a single player game, I want to play it, I'm super hype about it, and then everyone I know is texting me about playing a shooter. Next thing you know, 2 weeks went by and I never go back to it.
For sure. I never got that point. Dude, what is going on with Jonathan Majors, man? Nothing's came out about nothing. I want to know what's going on with him. Man.
I don't
What's
know,
going on.
bro.
I
I
want to
think they
know.
move on. I think they just,
Yeah, but like, where's the case? Where's it? You know what I'm saying? Usually stuff like this is talked about more. It's like moving forward. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I don't know because I like the guy so much. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love his acting and stuff. I want to know what's going on. You know what I
well,
mean?
the reality is, so I think we might have touched on this, but the reality is kind of like Microsoft did with Ezra. Just try to let it blow over. You push. So the next time we're going to see Kang is in Loki season 2. We've already pushed Loki into 2024. So we ain't even going to see him in the MCU the rest of the year, no matter what. Like, he's not in it. Maybe a cutscene, maybe, but you can always delete the cutscene and not just not show it.
Yeah.
So the next major time we see him be a big influence on it is in 2024. It's May, bro. So, like, now you
Blow over.
got, right. Just let it blow over. Like, they're so invested. I think that's their only option. Like, there is no other option. And if
Yeah.
it doesn't blow over, then you got to try to figure out, what do we do? The writer's
Yes.
strike helps them. The
Yeah.
writer's strike helps them because now tack on another 125, 150 days to whatever, because it's not going to end overnight. So, like, conservatively, let's say another 100 days, 3 months. So now everything's pushed back another 3 months because these people are striking, and news happens, things happen, and all of a sudden you forget. Like, dude, the shit that Ezra did is nuts. Is nuts.
Yeah.
But everyone that has seen this damn movie is like, this is the best superhero movie ever made. And then when we go watch it, everyone's not.
Like, what?
No one's going to talk about it. No one's going to talk about the unfortunate circumstances that he did. He has mental health issues. He's getting help. Who knows whatever is happening over there.
Yeah, for sure.
But enough time passed, and the movie supposedly is the greatest superhero movie of all time. So, I mean, as fucked up as it sounds, that's just the reality. As a Disney executive, wait it out, see what happens.
Yeah. If you can give me money, we'll forget about that shit.
They'll be like, listen, we're gonna give it 12 to 16 months. If no one else shows up, or if we can pay off enough people to not say shit, people forget. And if they don't forget, they just won't be as vocal. And if they're not as vocal, then no one else talks about it, right? Like that. It's just the unfortunate side. We talk about it in jest, but it's the reality. Like, it is the fucked up nature of our society, unfortunately. And we contribute to it because we're for sure gonna go see the Flash movie because they're saying it's the greatest superhero movie of all time. Like, I'm not gonna not watch it, but I still understand that what he did was fucked up. But the only way to change that stuff is to not go watch it. And that's a tough ask for most people.
Hey, that movie ain't got to do with shit. I'm watching it.
It's just nuts, dog. It is nuts. I'm super excited about it though. I think.
Oh yeah, dog. It's gonna change the game.
Yeah.
That's why they couldn't get rid of him though. They were so invested.
Right. Wait it out. And there's no different from Marvel. Like, this is the main guy for the next 3 cycles. You have no choice. I can't wait for you to see Guardians. I have so much to say about Guardians, but we have to watch it so that we can talk about it together.
Soon.
So good.
It's on Flickster though too. I might just watch a bootleg at the crib. I'm not the biggest Guardians fan. The last movie wasn't that good.
You should go watch it in the movies. The second Guardian sucked. This is a really good movie.
I will. But shit, I gotta
what was I gonna tell you?
Eat. I'm hungry and I gotta pee. Back.
Well, on that note, thanks for stopping by, y'all. Appreciate you guys stopping by the Nerd Related Podcast. Sorry for the delay. Vacation was more important last week. Don't regret it. Still tired as shit. Probably taking PTO. Well, I'm taking PTO on Friday. Don't know if Ray is. Either way, we're going to wrap up Dead Island 2 this weekend. We are wrapping that up this weekend. No matter what, we're about halfway through.
I want to play it so bad.
And then we're going to get into some more shooting stuff. Ray's trying to get me to play Apex again. Probably not going to be successful, but
dude,
we'll
they
see.
did so much good stuff to the game.
It's
like
Battlefield.
It's not a whole new game, but no, yeah, sure, but I'm talking about like it's different.
It's because you just want to play a battle royale game. That's the only reason. The only reason.
All
right, y'all. Make sure you subscribe.
Hey,
appreciate
you guys stopping by. Sorry about the wait.
Deuces.
That look great.
He don't. See ya.